Wow! They've changed their signposts.
You've been here before?
Oh, yeah. I was there with my ex.
Your ex?
Oh, not that ex, actually. The ex before that ex. The one I told you.
You don't have multiple exes and you didn't say anything about that?
What's there to tell?
A lot is there to tell. You have to tell me everything about you. Now, how am I supposed to have a nice time with you here knowing that you have been here with ex and the ex before your ex? No, come on.
Hello and welcome to the program Hot Button. It is a pleasure to have you join us today. Sometimes in life, we let the beautiful things of today and that of the future fade away just because we hold tightly to the things of the past. My name is Johnny ODEH, and with me on the program today are
EMMANUEL
and
Chichi, ELEMS.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This is Hot Button, like you all know. And we treat topical issues that affect the relationship of we as young people. Okay? Now, today we are going to be looking at the topic, discussing past relationships with a partner. That is to say, I have been in a relationship in times past, and now I'm into a relationship with a new person. Do I have to explain everything to the person about my past relationship? So, how important is it to discuss past relationship when in a relationship? I'll start with you, Chichi.
Okay, so I feel it's very important to discuss your past relationship with the person you're currently with because they need to know what you've been through and what has shaped you and what has made you who you are so that surprises don't come up in the future that could possibly break your relationship.
What do you think about that, Emmanuel?
All right, I feel it's okay talking about past relationships, in the new one.
Okay.
Because some of them serve as guide.
Okay.
Well, I need to know why you ended the relationships you ended. Like what happened in those relationships, what the other guys couldn't do better, that I could do better to help our relationship work.
Okay.
So they serve as guide to us. And also, some people may have done some things with a past relationship, so they do not come as surprise to us tomorrow when somebody comes to say, this thing has happened between me and the person you are in a relationship with.
Okay.
And so it's more like, oh, I knew all of those things, so there's nothing surprising about it.
Okay, so it is very good, very important to talk about our past relationship when we get into another relationship, so as to build like a guide.
Yeah.
Let it be a guide on how you can go about the relationship. There should not be surprises springing up from here and there because you're already aware of the person's past. And then when you look at that, these were the things I failed in, these were the things I couldn't do right. Now I'm here. Let's get it right this time. So it's more like a guide for, well, that's good to know. So how does knowing about your partner's past relationship help in the growth of your present relationship?
Okay, like said earlier, it helps in the growth of the present relationship because they serve as kind of yardstick to measure the relationship we are in. In the sense like, why did you end the ones you've ended? Like, what are the experiences you've gotten? And so how can we make this better than the ones you've been into? Like if I don't get to know about the errors some of the guys you've been with did in the past, it makes me make similar mistake. In fact, there's this popular saying that the people who tend to forget their history, their past, are bound to repeat similar mistakes in the present.
Okay.
So we do not live with the past. We do not live with the past, but it helps us guide. It helps to guide us in the things we do in the present and in the future.
Okay.
All right. So that's what it is.
All right. You have something to add to that?
Yeah, just really knowing what, your partner has been through in the past will definitely help the relationship to grow. But at the same time, it can also cause the relationship to break depending on what, the partner has done in those previous relationships. So
how much of this information should we share when we are in a relationship and then we want to know about our partner's past? How much of those past should the person share when the person is in a relationship?
I think as much as possible, be as honest as you can with the person. Don't try to hide some things or maybe reveal certain parts of what happened and then cover up the other parts that maybe you feel are like bad or something. Just be as open and honest as possible so that the person that you're in a relationship with will know that, okay, this person really trusts me. This person is being as honest and open as possible. Because if you try to hide, if you try to cover up some things, it can really cause trust issues in the future.
So even if you have dated as many as 5, 6 guys, you still definitely have to mention that.
Yes.
What is your view about that, Emmanuel?
Let me quickly include in the previous question that our past relationships can either affect our relationship positively or negatively.
Okay.
We talked about the positive side. Not only do those relationships serve as guide in our present relationship, they can also help bring this form of mistrust, this kind of distrust and some kind of doubt in this present relationship. Like, come on, you've had 6 guys. How certain am I that I won't be the 7th guy you grab? So it's more like knowing about your past can either affect us positively or negatively. Let me also include about how much
of information
should be shared. I think there wouldn't be so much need to talk about some things that you asked about. Now, like, I shouldn't tell you about all of the things I did wrong in a past relationship. I just come to tell you, but in the past relationship, I used to mess up, I did all of those things, I did this with some other girls who I in a relationship. That's already, why are you so confident about sharing your past to me? So it's more like those things can come up as a result of questions being asked. Like,
because there are some people who want to go into details. I want to know. Yeah.
So if those details are required, I think they should be shared. Because the danger is this. Some people come later on to tell me, this is me representing all the guys. Somebody comes to tell me, the girl you're dating, you know her so well. I know her and I love her for who she is. I love everything about her. And it's more like, do you know I dated her? I said, not really, you did. Well, what do I look at you? It's like, she cheated on me. Wow.
So he begins to unleash certain baggages.
He begins to unleash certain baggage, some of the things I never knew. And then I'm like, but I asked you about it. And you never told me, you never mentioned all of those things. So you wanted to discard me like you did to these other guys. So it's important that I know all of those things, it's important you tell me all of those things I seek to know. So that they do not serve as, they do not pose this threat at our relationship in the nearest future. Okay. Let me know and be sure I can live with them. And be sure, even if I cannot, let me be sure I can live with them actually. Let me work towards living with those things. So that when they come in the future, they do not haunt us. Okay.
But of course, there are certain people that when you share, when such informations are shared, they begin to look at it like, you have been with several people. What am I doing with you? Then how am I? So how do you handle a situation where your partner is telling you, I've dated this, I've dated that, I've dated your best friend and all that. How do you handle that? And then you're saying like, this person has been with a lot of people. How do you handle a situation like that?
Okay, how would I handle personally? What I would do, like, I'll try to first of all understand where the person is right now and try to see if I can notice some of those traits that the person had in the past, if it's still coming up as we're dating currently, because that could really change things. If let's say he comes to me and tells me, okay, I was with maybe your best friend, I was with this person, that person, but the person that I'm talking to now, to the best of my ability, is not showing those traits, then it's like, okay, we can actually progress. But if as I'm talking to this person and he's telling me about his past and, he's still showing those signs currently as we're dating now, it's already like a red flag, like, okay, this person has done all these things, he's still showing it, like, it might be time to...
Some guys are so good, some of them don't show flags.
Well, that's what I said, to the best of, my ability. And then, when you're in a relationship, it's not just the person you talk to. You might try to ask his friends, maybe his family, what do you think about this guy? What do you know about him? Maybe is there something he might be hiding?
If the person tells you, I've been with several people, does that affect your relationship with the person?
Yes, to a certain degree it does.
How
it
much
does,
of
because
degree?
it's like, can you commit? Are you someone who's scared of commitments? Am I going to be I don't know, the next in line for you to break up with, or is this going to be something that's real? Because if you've had several, maybe 6, 7, 8, it's like, am I number 9, 10, 11, or, you know, things like that. So it can affect the relationship. Doesn't mean that I'll just break up with the person because the person has been with so many people, no.
Okay.
But it would cause me to be more cautious in how I proceed in the relationship, knowing that, okay, yes, this person has this baggage or this, you know, many relationships in the past, so I need to be careful.
Okay, Emmanuel, what would you do when you realize that this partner of mine has been in several relationships? What would you do?
All right. I think personally, I feel there are two ways to it. One side is, like I mentioned, it sounds like, oh, as a guy, like, come on, you've been into so many relationships. It means you may be someone who doesn't relate some kind of things. Okay, that's on one side. Secondly, it makes me become extra careful with you. Like, if it's so easy for you to end relationships, like this, so what's there for me? Like, how sure am I you can keep this one?
Okay.
That's one side. And then the other thing I have to say is this. I could take it. I could take the relationship with you, knowing that you've had several relationships.
Okay.
All right. But it also depends on some factors.
Okay.
Level of maturity, your worldview entirely, your perspective to things, like how your level of understanding too. If you cannot take me being in so many relationships, it means you cannot take some things too about me. That's one side. Now, your worldview, your perspective to things. You know, if you are this kind of person, we all cannot be the same. You know, we have people. It's also informed by the kind of temperament some people do have.
Okay.
Like if I'm a sanguine, I'm so cool with almost everything. Okay. And so, you know, but when it's more like I just need to be I just need to be the head.
Okay.
You know, those people who are this kind of choleric. You know, they just want to feel that superior. It makes some people feel less important. Like you have 6 guys, you all seeing each other, and all 6 of them have dated the lady you are in a relationship with. So it throws this kind of threats on and poses this kind of I really don't know how to describe it, but throws this thing at your point this finger at your ego, your self-worth, you know, self-esteem and everything. Like, come on, it means somebody. It's like, oh, the girl you're dating is someone. So there's nothing very special about you. You know, nothing special about them. She can even dump you like others. So it depends on your level of understanding, how well you are able to take all of those things. That's what really matters in it. But personally, I feel I can be cool with it, especially when I know I have this high level of self-esteem and can handle whatever it is in the relationship, despite what has caused the old ones.
All right, you've been watching Hot Button, and we have been talking about discussing your past relationship when you are in a new relationship. How does that really work? Does that affect you? Does that affect the relationship entirely? Does that affect the person you're dating? And I've been talking with Emmanuel and Chichi here, and we are discussing, like I said earlier, past relationship when you are in a new one. And Chichi, you were talking about something, being cautious. You guys said, okay, when I find out this information, there is a level, it helps me to relate with the person and then help me to like be a little bit cautious. Now, being cautious makes me wonder, like, doesn't that already begin to like bring a kind of hold back, a kind of watchful eyes on the personality of the person, and doesn't that become a problem in the relationship?
Well, for me as a person, I don't see it as a problem because the way I look at it, it's actually even saving the relationship because now I know that this is what you're coming into the relationship with. So it's helping me to be on guard and to maybe try to find ways to, I guess, address this issue of your past if it's something that's so disturbing for me. So being cautious won't, you know, create any problem for me. For some people who have different personalities, different mindsets, different worldviews, it might be a problem. Okay. The act of being cautious. But as a person, for me, it won't be a problem.
So what would you do being cautious? How would you handle it? How would you guard yourself, like you said?
Well, I guess it's more of a mental thing.
Okay.
You know, it's a mental game, really. It's really saying that, okay, at some point I'll have to be careful. If I start to notice some of those warning signs of maybe showing lack of commitment or trust issues, then I need to watch myself and how I relate to him.
Okay, so what do you think about that? How would you, like, you're being cautious, how does that affect the relationship? Wouldn't it be seen like, oh, you're being cautious, like you're being too careful because I've told you my past and then you're already looking at me that way?
Yeah, I want to say this from the other side of the coin, which Chichi has said, which is, in as much as it's an advantage in a way to the relationship to help you become careful and help it grow.
Okay.
I also think in some cases it can also cause the downfall, depending on the person's mindset, point of view, and everything. Even without that, a natural man begins to see himself in the position of those people you've spent your time with in the past. It makes me begin to think like I begin to see you from that perspective, especially when you were at fault in some of those relationships.
Okay.
It's just like you tell me that the reason why you ended the last relationship was because he caught you cheating on his friend or somebody,
okay.
And then you were telling me that you're telling me in this relationship that you want to go spend time with your friend. Come on. Really?
So that begins to make you
look. I begin to box you into some corner, so you do not repeat some of those mistakes.
Well, you're actually trying to help. So by limiting certain things that could lead you into doing that.
In the bid to prevent some of the things that happened before from happening, you are trying to cage this person from expressing him or herself. In fact, the both of you won't even be free in that relationship. It's like you were just sitting like a watchdog, you're going out to meet with friends. Was it not the same friend that you guys, was still visiting?
Can I jump in there? I don't mean when I say cautious, like I'll be like every small thing this person does, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like that just shows signs of mistrust, and I don't know. For me, it's just cautious doesn't mean like I'm going to be a watchdog, just ready to pounce on every single move the person makes. It just means, like I said, it's more something that's mental. It's more in my mind. Like I just have to control the way I react to certain situations. It's not like I'm just going to be there ready to attack at anything the person says, anything the person does. I don't know.
Well, sometimes these things could grow. It starts from the mind. The mental begins to process like, okay, he's gone here now. Could it be that this is happening? Things like that come up.
Yes.
Now, how would someone, when a partner is judged, or when a partner judges you based on your past relationship, what should be done to reassure the person that, hey, I may have done all this in the past, but how do you go about it without using words? What are the things you could do to reassure the person?
To reassure the person, you see, the point is we all need to understand that we all have past.
Okay.
We all have past. And also, it also has to do with your self-esteem too, in some way. Like, why do I think I'm no better than the other guys you have been with? Like, why do I think that you can always drop me like you did to the other guys? Don't you think you have something better than they do? And somebody, she's telling me that, how am I sure you won't dump me like the other girls? How am I sure that I'm so beautiful? She wasn't so faithful. How are you sure that these little things cannot even happen in my relationship? I can reassure you by letting you understand the virtues you have than the others.
Okay.
Secondly, you do not judge me based on my past.
Okay.
You also have a past, You also have a past. So that I'm here today, that I'm seeing you, it's because I have taken those off my mind. Trying to sit with those people in the past. And the truth of the whole thing is, the wrong people will continue to live for the right person to stay. And so when you are trying to live with that instance, you're trying to live with those issues that happened in the past, it's more like you just want the wrong person to take your position. So you are there, you are there, and then you notice that, oh, well, I've seen those people and they've passed. It means you really are the right person to be in that position. And so you should be grateful to God, actually, that those people left, not using it against the relationship. So that's more like what it is.
Okay.
That's more like what it is.
All right, so what do you think?
I would say in this situation, action speaks louder than words.
Okay.
If you're saying this is my past, but in reality your past is still your present, then it's not really your past. It's what you are now. So if your actions are showing that you're someone that wants to grow, you're someone that wants to improve, yes, you understand that you have this past, but now you're in this new relationship and you want to make it work, that says a lot. But if you're living, you tell me that this is your past, but then I'm still seeing those signs, those traits in your present, then is it really your past? I don't know.
So if you personally are being judged, if you're being judged for your past, how would you handle it?
Well,
How would you reassure me now? For example, I'm your boyfriend, and then I'm judging you based on your past. You've told me all these things, and then how would you judge me? I mean, how would you reassure me?
how would I reassure you that, okay, maybe I wouldn't continue to do those same things? I think, like I said, my actions should be able to speak louder than
What kind
my
of
words.
actions? Let me
For
see the
example,
actions.
let's say I'm trying to think of, okay, maybe I had many boyfriends in the past or something, then I would be committed. Maybe my issue was commitment. So I'll tell you that I've understand that this is the issue and I'm working on it.
Okay.
And I'll take like proactive steps to make sure that my commitment with you is sure, and I don't know, just by my actions and, you know, seeing how I live my life, you should be able to tell that, okay, yeah, she has actually changed. No, she hasn't.
All right, what do you think? How about you? Like, your girlfriend is judging you based on your past. How do you reassure her that, hey, you don't have to?
All right, if I'm able to let her know that these are the things that happened in the past relationship.
Okay.
You know, some of them messed up. Yeah, I did at some point. You know, like I said in the earlier part of this presentation, you know, that those things serve as guide in our present relationship. You know, these are the things I did wrongly, and I've learned from them. And these are the things this lady didn't do well, but you've got them all. You know, come on. Like, if you were like them, you wouldn't be here. Like, if I've seen all of the virtues, all of the things that those other ladies possessed in this relationship. So come on, why are we dating? You know, we are here because I've seen something more unique than what used to be in the past relationship.
Okay.
So come on, the reassurance is it's you taking me for the person you were saying and not for the person I used to be.
Okay.
You know, I used to be. You know, that's why personally I tend to know more, like I tend to live with what I'm saying. Somebody's like, oh, come on, you're dating somebody we know has a bad history and stuff like that. I'm not dating the past I've heard. I'm dating the present I see. So I'm not dating you then. If I want to date you then I go back and then discard all of those guys in your life and start from afresh. But this is me seeing you. Like, I'm dating what I see. So it has to be with what you see in the present. And this is you, this is me, this is what it is now. You are special than the people who used to be there. And of course, they have to live my life for you to come in. And so you don't expect them to keep staying there, or you want to also leave as a wrong person. So make yourself the right person, and let us also walk on a various path to be there.
So this brings me to ask the question, what should we do as Christian youth when we discover our partner has excess baggage?
All right. If we are able to understand that we are all, even in Christ, you know, I was in Ghana in 2019, and part of one of the programs we had then, the theme was Christ at the center. It means we should look up to Christ for our relationship, just like Christ is with the church.
Okay.
You know, we are all somewhere before. We all used to have baggage before.
Okay.
Before Jesus met us, and He took us that way.
Okay.
You know, so if we should understand that this person is somebody who used to be bad before, you know, we also convince ourselves that we are not the best of the kind of person we should be, then we should be able to forgive. In fact, the Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, it's a popular one. It says, therefore, if any man is in Christ, he is a new creation. All things have passed away, and behold, all things have become new. You know, so it means that we should not look at the old things. You know, provided this person is genuinely converted, we should see the present. You know, and also living in the past. You know, just like your introductory line to this also told us that some of us allow the beautiful things we should experience in our present, we let them fade away because of the past, which we should forget and have them as a guide. You know, as Isaiah chapter 43, verse 18 to 19 has this to say, remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So no matter how
great.
tough it is, no matter how it seems like this person has been there before, but we should not focus on the present. Consider not those old things. That's what Isaiah is saying. Do not consider those old things, but look at the things God is doing in the present. And that's what I said initially. I do not care about what you've done in the past. That's not my business. You know, I care less of what you've done in the past. It's not my thing. I have my past. I wasn't there, but what I'm saying is the present God is bringing to me, the present I'm saying. So I don't live in the present, but I live in the future.
Okay.
Like I live in what I see.
Thank you very much. All right, Chichi, what would you have to say?
Okay, just, I guess, going off of what he said, it's true, because of Jesus, all our sins are forgiven, and Jesus takes us just as we are, you know. But I think an important point that I just want to highlight is that as you've been forgiven, it doesn't mean you should continue to live in these sins.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, you have this past, you have all of this, but make sure that as you're moving forward, you're not bringing those things back into your present. So that's what I would say.
All right, that's where we draw up the curtain today. But remember, bringing up someone's past into the future can only becloud the beautiful things that are supposed to happen between you and the person. Sometimes you just need to hold that person's hand and lead the person to Christ. Isaiah chapter 1 verse 18 says, "Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool." Hold somebody's hand and lead the person to Christ. Be the one who shines the light for those who are in the dark. Do not be judgmental. Do not be Mr. Perfect. We are all learning every day. And don't forget, we all are laden with our past. Thank you for being a part of the program. We'll see you again next week. God bless you.